Welcome back, guys, to another video, race number 1. Thanks for joining. Now let's get into it. George Russell versus Fernando Alonso. This saga does not seem like it's going to die down anytime soon. So more recently, obviously 2 weekends ago, George ended up destroying his car completely. The majority of the blame from the stewards, or all the blame from the stewards, went on Fernando Alonso, calling that because he downshifted before the corner, because I think he braked 100 metres earlier, he lifted 100 metres earlier. It was all predominantly blamed on Fernando Alonso. Now, fast forward 2 weeks to today, where George Russell openly talks about how, in actual fact, he was looking down at his steering wheel, adjusting his brake balance or doing some type of strap mode change. When he looked up, realised that he was actually heading for Fernando Alonso's gearbox, so then took avoiding action to miss him. Now, if you're a Fernando Alonso fan, you'll actually be very annoyed to hear all of this information. And equally, if the stewards would have looked on George's onboard footage, you would have seen this all happen. So in reality, was it really Fernando's fault, or should there be some blame on George that, you know, you're in a race, George, to the very end, you don't stop? And obviously, I know drivers like to do it on the straights, and that's absolutely fine. But leading into the entrance of a corner, shouldn't your head and focus really be on your braking points, etc., etc.? So I'd love to get your view on it. Me personally, I think it's a 50-50. Yes, Fernando was a little bit cheeky, but this is what he's known for. He's got all these years of experience in driving, and he will give anyone a hard time if you're trying to overtake him. And secondly, George, we've seen it numerous times where he lacks concentration or his concentration slips. We've seen it, I think, in Mexico one year. We obviously saw it in Singapore last year. Concentration, maybe this is one thing that he just lacks, is a concentration for a full race, because we're talking about extreme sport here in Formula 1. So anyway, drop me a comment below what you think. Who's really to blame? Do you put any blame on George, or are you solely like the stewards going, no, definitely Fernando's fault? Drop me a comment below. It'd be good to know what you think.